So anyway, so welcome back to the second round of talks in the Science and the Sabha. You have already heard 2 talks before the break. We have 2 more talks now. So with that, let's welcome now our third speaker for today, Richa Singh. Richa is a computer scientist and engineer. She works at the Indian Institute of Technology, Jodhpur. She did her doctoral studies, master's and doctoral studies at West Virginia University in the USA. And for several years, she was at the Indraprastha Institute for Information Technology at Delhi. She's been now in Jodhpur for about 6 years or so. Her main interest from her PhD days, main research interest has been biometrics. She has been involved in many projects to do, large-scale public projects to do with biometrics, facial recognition, iris recognition, and so on. She's been working on dependable learning, trustworthy AI, and now she's going to talk to us about what it means to move towards a world where we can actually trust artificial intelligence, whether or not we can trust our own intelligence. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Hinachi. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming back after coffee to listen to the talk. Thank you for the introduction also, and I'll be talking about AI. AI has become the buzzword today, right? Anybody who hasn't heard of AI? I am sure everyone has. We are using AI for a number of applications today. I'm sure starting from biology that in ants, and we have a habit of adapting things also, right? So based on ant behavior that the first speaker mentioned, we do something which is called as ant colony optimization in AI. Maths, AI I'll be talking about, and going forward, right? I'm sure in energy also we use AI. I haven't done, but yes, we do use. So we're stepping into the words. How many of you have heard ChatGPT? All of us. What is ChatGPT? It's a kind of foundation model. In AI language, foundation model is the technical term that we use. ChatGPT is the output. It's a kind of model that is generated, right? Now, the foundation models are of 2 kinds, okay? One is generative models, one is discriminative models. Difference between the 2? Generative models create information. ChatGPT is one of these generative models. You ask a question, it answers. Midjourney, it creates information for you. You ask it to give an image of sorts, it will create an image for you of different sorts, right? So that is kind of this generative model. And discriminative models is something that we have been using for doing a lot of tasks, be it face recognition, something that I've been doing for 20 years now. So discriminative models, generative models. And then what are the inputs to these models? Inputs are all kinds of sensory information that we take, right? So as of now, we have language models. India has recently called for a proposal to launch its own large language model, right? Minister Vaishnav had, I think last week, made this announcement. So language models, we can see we have images, cameras, phones, lot of ways of collecting images. So we have vision models. We have audio models, the way we speak, right? And then when you combine all of these things together, that becomes multimodal. So a combination of one, a combination of multiple things. These are just 2-3 main domains in which the research is happening today, but you can create a lot of other foundation models. The only challenge is it requires humongous amount of data, right? It requires humongous amount of data. Currently, in my lab, these are some of the things that we work on: vision, audio, and multimodal. So I'll talk about that today, right? And in the space of generative AI. So generative AI, broadly speaking, is a category of artificial intelligence models that are designed to create new information, okay? And inputs are there for you. If I ask ChatGPT or any generative AI model, what is generative AI? It's a valid question. These are the answers it gives me, right? So let me play the audio. If it plays, let me see. Okay, it's not playing the audio right now, but I'll play the other ones. Why do I say Gen AI paradox? It's a good thing, right? ChatGPT can create a lot of answers for us. What is the problem? Can somebody tell me? What is the problem with ChatGPT? I, being a faculty, I can tell you my biggest problem is if I give an assignment, students copy, right? But from your perspective, what is the problem? Yes, ChatGPT can make mistakes. Good. Any other answer? ChatGPT can make up data. Very good. Bias, hallucination, all of these are very valid problems, right? So I'm good to see here that we haven't accepted the norm. right? And I'll be discussing some of the positive sides and some of the negative sides of this foundational AI, generative AI that we speak of today. So problems are there, but there are a lot of positive sides also to it. And I'll just show you some of the positive sides first in social good applications, right? The first one I'll start with is face recognition, right? It's useful for democratizing access, creativity, productivity. All of these technologies are available at your fingertips. 3 years back, would you have imagined that small students can use AI models? Very small kids. Today, everybody can use AI models, right? But 5 years back, 10 years back, none of us would have imagined it, right? It was for the geeks or AI experts to be using AI models and giving those answers. But today, everybody can use for all kinds of positive purposes, right? So the first example that I'll take I'll show you that something we had done was with respect to face recognition. How many of you have used face recognition? In your phones, right? Either phones or access cards, marking attendance in offices, schools, classes, wherever. Most of us have used face recognition. When does it not work? Have you come across a situation when face recognition doesn't work? When you close your eyes. When there is dark. When it is dark. Anybody else? If you win a mask. Yes, sir. If you wear a glass. Okay, so these are valid examples of when it doesn't work, right? So one of my students, several years back, she came up with this problem. And if you combine all of these problems, put it to some social causes, one of the social causes that she was very pertinent about, she was very passionate about, was injuries. You have all of these injuries that happen, road accidents, all different kinds of accidents. If a person doesn't have an ID card, how will you recognize the person, right? So she wanted to work on this problem, and today the problems that you said 6 years back also, all of them were very, very relevant. So she wanted to work on this research problem, and let me tell you, face recognition research started in 1950s. The first thesis on face recognition that came out was by a researcher. His name was Takeo Kanade. He was a Japanese researcher, finished his PhD, and then he was at Carnegie Mellon for a very long period of time. A very prolific researcher, very amazing person, right? A lot of accolades to his name. His was the first thesis in face recognition. 65 years, we did not have a solution to this specific problem. So she wanted to work on this, and we AI researchers, we need data to work with, right? And at that point in time, there was no data to work on this problem. So what do we do? When there is no data, you create the data, right? You have to solve the problem. So you start by creating the data. And how do you create the data? We can't wait for accidents to happen and go around hospitals and collecting data. So we said, let's go to the World Wide Web. There are a lot of images of accidents that are available. Let's figure out the ones that are copyright license free and collect those images and work with them. So we collected these images, and 150 subjects, a data of 150 subjects is what we could gather, right? And if you look at the accuracies, there's a super bad accuracies. 4%, 46%, the best we could do was 63%, which is by no means good, right? You won't put a system which gives you 46% or 64% accuracy anywhere for actual deployment, right? So she was working on this, and it was a challenging problem because of all the reasons that you just mentioned, right? Facial features are distorted, image is not visible, eyes are closed, all of those reasons are there. So we worked on this, we published a few papers, closed the chapter, right? And these are the accuracies that we could go up till. So from 4%, 36% we could go up to 50s, and in some cases 80s as well, right? But we couldn't find a practical application, so we said, okay, leave it. But then 2003, we had what? We had the Balasore train accident, the very unfortunate Balasore train accident, where a lot of people were hurt and many people died as well, right? So for a lot of people, they had ID cards with them. People were able to recognize them. And you could, the railway authorities and administrators at the site, they could actually reach out to the family members. But then there were almost 200 dead bodies who could not be recognized. There was no ID with them, right? So in this kind of a scenario, and this was a very long distance train that was traveling, right? So how do you actually reach out to the families? How do you figure out who are these people and go back to their family members? So what happened was they were trying face recognition. The standard models were not working, right? The scientists that were with these officers in the relevant departments, these models were not working. So what they did was, and these are the kinds of images, right? So dark, not clear, eyes closed, all of these things applied here. So they reached out to, somehow they figured out we work in face recognition, so they reached out to my group and they gave us images from the crash site, from the site of the train accident, right? And then what they did was, when you book a train reservation, you provide a phone number, right? With every phone number, there is a KYC photograph that you give when you were actually taking that number, right? How old are those photographs? Nobody knows. Mine is 12 years old, right? The photo that you see in the advertisement that you have for IMSC, that is a photo 12 years back, that is probably on my phone, and it's me today. So we got photographs from that KYC. How good, how bad, how old, we don't know. And was it correct person's photo also? That also we don't know, right? And then we got data from the crash site, face images from the crash site, which were sorry, I think I'm going forward. The photos from the crash site were like that. I'm not putting that slide up for longer. There are difficult images there, so please bear with me. So what we did, we took these photographs from the crash site, and we got almost 1,000 images from the data set of people who were actually on that train, right? And we tried to match them. Out of those 200 faces that we got, of faces of people, we were able to correctly identify about 120 people correctly. And we were able to reach out to their, not we, as in the administrators could reach out to their families and tell them that tell them the news, right? I mean, the news was not so good, but at least they got a closure. That where are my family members, they at least got a closure. So this was one of the hardest case studies of face recognition that my group had worked on. And if you see, when you have a face recognition pipeline, how does it work? Because you could just take my image right here. So what would be the first step? The first step is you actually detect out my face, right? Because this becomes the region of interest, as we call it. So when you detect out the region of interest, that is my face, and then you perform any kind of processing on the face. Now, if you look at the images on the front, and this is the region, one of you said, right, that the eyes are, when eyes are closed, it doesn't work. It's because the face doesn't get detected. That eyes become very, very important feature when we work as face. So for a long time, if you have a potato, you know a potato? With those, the buds that come out of potato, sometimes the roots that come out of potato, you take a round picture of a round potato with those two dark buds, it will say there is a face. Because it considers those eyes, right? If you give it a cartoon, a panda face, like in my childhood, I used to draw a panda, right, with those two eyes and the nose. It will detect that as a face. Why does it do that? Because face detectors rely heavily on eyes, presence of eyes. And if eyes are not there, it won't detect a face. So in cases like this, it's very difficult to figure out, the images were not getting detected, right? So if the images are not getting detected, how do you figure out that there is a face? So there's a lot of discussion that is going on worldwide about faces, privacy related to faces, the concerns related to faces. When Aadhaar started, the concerns related to Aadhaar, right? Because of the privacy and other legal concerns. But look at the positive sides that this face recognition technology has there to offer. So we have been working with government agencies, a few of them, to see if it can be extended further for other government applications like missing persons, right? If there is a missing child, some of the cases have happened that there is a child that goes missing from Delhi and is found in Dehradun or Guwahati or some other place, right? How do you associate that? So a technology like face recognition can prove to be a real boon in those cases when you can actually perform this kind of matching. So we are looking at how can we deploy these kinds of technologies in face recognition. right? So this was something that where face recognition comes to help for social good applications. The second one is sketch to photo recognition, right? How many of you have seen the serial CID? There's a serial that comes on TV, CID. Who's the most famous character there? Daya, right? And ACP Pradyuman. What does ACP Pradyuman says often? When you have a witness, right? Daya, जरा इसका sketch बनवाओ, right? Sketch बन जाएगा, फिर what happens? Sketch को अपने database से match करके दिखाओ, कौन है ये बंदा? And Daya immediately retrieves the identity, right? Unfortunately, that's not the case, right? We don't have the technology to take a sketch image as it is and match it with a data set of face images, mugshot like we call it, right? A frontal passport kind of photographs. We don't have the technology yet, right? But what happened, I can't name the case, but this happened very recently. It was nationwide news where this kind of a case happened where they were looking for who's the culprit, right? So we were approached by some of the law enforcement agencies that we have a sketch. Can you create a photo out of the sketch? Because like I said, from sketch you can't do face recognition. But if I can convert that sketch to a photo, then you can take that photo and run it against the data set of face images. So we said, fine, give us that data set, and if you have some kind of a description of that sketch, whatever the witnesses might have given you, please provide us that also, right? So this is the sketch that we got. And the description that we got from witnesses was fair color, young, 30 years, healthy, face is mature, double chin. And this was kind of the sample skin tone that the person was able to retrieve from several, the witnesses were able to retrieve from several skin tones that were shown to the witnesses, right? So based on this description, we were supposed to create a face image, a realistic looking face image matching the skin tone, which can be used for face recognition. So we followed an iterative process. This is where Gen AI comes to rescue, right? So we have designed an algorithm to go from sketches to photos, right? Which follows kind of an iterative process, and we got a lot of images. We created, because it's an iterative process, we created multiple images out of that, sample outputs from iterative generation, and we provided some of these like 20 odd outputs that we had generated with the law enforcement agencies, and they selected this one particular output. They said this is the one which the witnesses say is a very close match, right? And finally, this is the actual photo of the person. If you had followed the case, you can probably relate to it. I don't know if you had followed the case or not, right? So based on this, they actually, they took this image, they figured out who the person was, they did a search, they could actually figure out who the culprit was, and now even the charge sheet is filed, the case is proceeding further, right? So that was a very satisfying experience that generative AI, some of these kinds of technologies that we have been developing, that the research community in AI has been developing, can come to such good uses for the community, for the law enforcement agencies, right? So these are some of the positive sides that I wanted to share with you. Meenaji, how much time do I have? 15 minutes, okay. So these are some of the positive sides that I have, and similar to this, you can have, there are a lot of such cases, right? Some other applications that we're working with include healthcare and other such applications in which, because of the time, I'll not go into the details. But with these positives, like you said, bias, privacy concerns, there are quite a bit of challenges also. There are quite a bit of negatives and limitations also that come inherently with the law of the land, and it can be used for these kinds of challenges also. Some of this is related to when does the technology get misused? There are two cases. Either it is intent, my intent is not correct, that is when I'll take this technology, create problematic things with it. The second thing is when the technology inherently has some kind of limitations, right? When the technology itself is not very accurate, then it can give incorrect results at some points, right? So let me just show you two specific case studies to show you about the negative uses. Deepfake, I'm sure everybody has heard the word deepfake. right? Yeah, I don't need to ask on that. But I am a faculty, right, by profession, so I have a habit of asking questions. Which of them are real, which of them are fake? These are videos, I'll just play it for you. Any thoughts? All fake? Why? The middle one is real? Okay, I have one real, the middle one. Anybody else? I couldn't get your answer, ma'am. Middle one is real? All are fake. Somebody, I think some of you answered it rightly, all are fake. Instagram and Telegram have a lot of fake AI profiles, right? And many of them are actually, what do you call them? Influencers. Thank you, influencers, right? And it's very easy to create one today. What you need to do is you create a real image, you take a real image, and AI can generate fake faces for you today. Very easily, it can generate fake faces for you, and it can generate a number of fake faces. There is a website website which has faces does not exist, and it has all generated faces, right? The faces does not exist.com. That kind of a website is there, which has samples of all generated faces, and it's very good faces, high quality, very clear faces, right? So this is just a quick way to generate a fake image, right? And then there's so many videos on Instagram, Telegram, all of those. You source those videos, take an image, put your image on that, somebody else's video, and you have a series of posts or Instagram videos and images that you can post and become an influencer, right? So these are some of the videos that can be created and have been created, right? We did this kind of a study during the Delhi elections last year and analyzed some of these, right? So real identity, synthetic face, and then you can create a number of these transitions. So one synthetic face, other synthetic face, and keep on transitioning it. So the background is the same, just the face keeps changing, right? Or even if you pick up different kinds of backgrounds, then the background keeps changing. That is how you become influencer, the previous one. The face is consistent, background changes. The other thing is the background is consistent, face keeps changing. So you can do both of those today, right? Similarly, you can do audio also. Let me go to the next slide and then I'll come back to the previous one. I'll again play two audio clips. Please tell me if which one is real and which one is fake. I think I'll have to go there to play this one. तेरी शान पे सदके तेरी धूप से रोशन है क्या तेरी हवा पे जिंदा तू बाग है मेरा. We all know the song? Let me play the second one. तेरी धूल से बढ़ के तेरी धूप से रोशन तेरी हवा पे जिंदा तू बाग है मेरा मैं. Beautiful song. Which is real, which is fake? Song 2 is real. Song 1? Fake. How do you know that? Voice is different. What's your name? Ismail. He's a brilliant kid. Whose voice is this, Ismail? The first one? It's a familiar voice. The Arijit Singh is the real voice. That's the second one. Arijit Singh is the actual singer of the song. First voice. It's Atif Aslam. First voice is Atif Aslam. How did we create this? If you don't look at the voice, if it's an unknown singer for you, since we know Arijit and since we know the song was actually sung by Arijit, we can figure out that second one was real, right? But if you don't know the actual singer, can you figure out from the audio who was real, who was fake? Which was real, which was fake? Second is real. First one is fake, which is Atif Aslam, right? Second one had more clarity. I don't think so. Both are very clear. I can play the song again for you. Meena ji, you'll have to give me 20 more seconds. I have.
ओ देश मेरे तेरी शान पे सदके
Audio is
कोई
beautiful.
धन है क्या तेरी धूल से बढ़ के तेरी धूप से रोशन
So how do we distinguish?
तेरी हवा पे जिंदा तू बाग है मेरा
It's a fake. Atif Aslam has not sung the song. We digitally created Atif Aslam singing that song. We didn't record Atif Aslam singing that song. And actually we can do it for any song. People have done it. People have created Arijit Singh's song in Mukesh Rafi's voice. In Kishore Kumar's voice, you can do that. Right? If somebody is a Mukesh or a Kishore fan, it's a treat for us. Right? That's the positive use of things. So what we do, we take a lot of audio samples of Arijit or Atif or whoever is the favorite singer and train our models for them. So we can have them sing any song, right? Can you please play this one? These are shorter ones.
I have come to clear away the dishes.
Okay, second one.
In like this wave of like being evolved and not being evolved at the same time, like technologically, spectacularly evolved to the point where we can bend matter and create new.
Which is fake, which is real? Second is fake. Why? Second is real. What about first? Next picture. Both are real. Both are real. The difference is the second one was actually spoken by somebody from America. So it has a US accent to it, right? The first one was Indian and with a northeastern accent, right? Both are real, but when I use my AI to predict, what it says one is fake and two is real. Reason? Accent, right? Because when we do English, so we created, so deepfake detection, it's a research problem. We have deepfake detection solutions for images, video, and audio signals, right? The trouble is, like I said, we work with data. So whatever data is there, we train on that data, right? So that is where your bias problems come in. A lot of these data sets were collected in the US and European countries. So their accent gets recorded. But when we speak, we don't speak in that accent. Spontaneous, competitive. We don't speak in that kind of an accent, right? Our accents are different. So when we speak in our accent, which it doesn't recognize, it says it is fake. Oftentimes it is not, right? So that is another problem that we are working with.
I have come to like.
Sorry. Yeah, so this is another problem that we are working with. Fake audio detection, deepfake audio detection across a number of languages and across accents. I'm in Chennai, I don't know Tamil, but if I were to speak Tamil, I'm sure I'll do a very bad accent. So I don't even try, right? I'll do a very bad accent. But if I have a deepfake detection solution for Tamil, it will tell me that whatever I'm speaking, it's a fake. And these are the reasons. If you look at the accuracies again here, when we have Indian accent English, so from Rajasthan we got those kinds of results. These are different models that you see. Kerala, Punjab, Goa, West Bengal, these are the accuracies. But when we go to UK accent English, these are the accuracies that we got. So accuracies are a lot better. Maybe UK accent English, it can recognize. Indian accent English from all kinds of different states, it doesn't work, right? So this is a problem that we actually worked with. We collected a large Hindi data set and English data set, and we had our models trained, but then we got a lot of samples because during Indian elections we got a lot of samples that was throughout India, in different regional languages also. So we got 7-8 different languages, and we did not have the data set at that point in time to train or to tell whether this is a fake or this is a real. So this is something that we are right now doing. We have created a data set of 10 languages, including Hindi and English, trained because we need to create data sets for English also according to our accents now. So that is what we have done, and we have been solving real cases in Indian accent as well as some of the international cases. We solved one of the international cases from one of the, I think Spanish countries from South America. I think we solved one of the cases also. And these are some of the example of solved cases. These are again all your Instagram and other profiles that we have. That is a synthetic image that was circulated on media with certain claims. This was the image. What do you think about this image? This looks very much artificial, right? The last image. This is, I think, when I think Kamala Harris had come. This was right before elections, or something of that sort had happened. It was real, but AI enhanced images. So we get all kinds of these kinds of images to work with. But okay, let me just play this audio for you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mukesh Ambani. I find that many people don't know how to pick stocks and just follow the trend. But investment is not gambling.
भारत की क्रिकेट टीम के प्रसिद्ध कप्तान विराट कोहली ने आज अपने ऑनलाइन कैसीनो के निर्माण की घोषणा की.
So these are the news that come up, and this is not just news for finance. There are these medical misinformation also that keeps on coming. So there'll be some famous doctor or some very respected person, and there'll be I'm vouching for this, I'm vouching for this. There'll be fake media that will be circulated throughout, right? And WhatsApp University, like we call it, it just no verification, nothing. It just gets circulated, and sometimes or more often people believe it as well, right? So these are the problems that happen, and again. This happened, this project that we had done, the tool that we had created on deepfake detection, that tool is with some of the law enforcement agencies. It was given to all the law enforcement agencies in the country. How many of them are using it, I don't know. But some people definitely are, because this actually happened that in a village in North India, this case happened that a pornographic film of a girl living in the village was circulated. Right? I'm not at liberty to reveal names and all, but a pornographic was circulated, and the family was banned from the village. Ki ye ladki is not good, and she'll destroy our girls also, and all kinds of things. The family was banned from the village. This family actually went to police, who had no clue what to do, because the deepfake that was created was very fine. It's a good quality deepfake. Not like abrupt that people can see what are the variations. So this was created. Somehow this clip came to some of the law enforcement people that had access to our tool. They ran it against the tool. Tool showed them explainability wise that these are the hotspots where image has been altered, where the video has been altered. So what they had done, they had taken a pornographic video, replaced the face, like I was showing earlier, just replaced the face of this girl from that video, and then circulated it. So then the family was taken back after that. But then there are a lot of such cases where we are not able to reach. That was one of case that I am aware of, because the police officer came back to us and told that this is something that we have been using it. I don't know where all it has been using, but I'm sure there is a lot of potential of actually improving the technology, reaching out to masses, solving a lot many different cases, right? So,
hello everyone, my name is.
So this is something that another thing that we did and could actually make an impact in the real world, while along with publishing papers and patents and all of that, but it actually makes an impact in the real world. That is what is the satisfaction that we got. And this is the last one. 2 prompts. Image of a beautiful face, image of a chubby face. If I ask you, if you were my ChatGPT, if I ask you, create an image of a beautiful face for me or create an image of a chubby face for me, what would you create? Anyone? Beautiful face, how would it look like? Rashmika. There was another deepfake of Rashmika Mandana that we intervened with. Highly symmetrical face. Will it be a man or a woman? Woman? Okay. Anybody who would create image of a man when I say a beautiful face? No? What about chubby face? Baby. Anything else? Anybody else? So when I give these prompts to foundation models, beautiful face goes with ladies, right? So you are right, beautiful is probably an adjective more frequently used for ladies, but it's not that men cannot be beautiful. So, and chubby face, this is what I get. None of those are babies, right? So, and another thing, these are all geographically biased. right? These are all geographically biased is another thing I would say. When I ask it to draw images of an Indian house, this is what I get. And this is a recent drawing. I mean, we have the houses like this, but this is not all that we have, right? We have a lot of other things also. Right? So why do you portray us like this? Mid-journey, DALL-E 3, Llama. So this is another thing that we are working on. We have these large language models which are obviously trained in the US or foreign countries with the data that they had, right? There's no intention behind creating this, it's just that the data set is biased, right? And that is what we worked with. So how can we append that and how can we improve these models, large language models, audio models, vision models, whatever we have, how can we improve them and make them more geographically sensitive, more culturally sensitive, right? So last question. Close your eyes and imagine image of a chicken that is never frozen. What will you see? What will you draw? Alive ones? Anybody who would actually draw a turkey kind of a chicken that you see in Thanksgiving? So it gave this, right? Whereas what I had in mind was image of a chicken that is never fried, that is never frozen. Because for a real chicken, why will I use that adjective that it is never frozen? I'll say a chicken who's alive chicken, right? So with that kind of a connotation, with that kind of a thought process, how do you actually enter words? What do you mean? That context has to be better put forward so that you get the images that you meant to create. The other problem, these are the problems with ChatGPT, the last one. Image of dog without ears. Image of a dog with no ears. These are the images that it generates. So these ChatGPT, these large language models, they don't understand negation, right? In whichever form you try to provide it. They don't understand negation. A dog that does not have ears, a car without tires, a bowl of ramen without chopsticks. And in all of these, you can see that whatever we are saying not, this is highly visible. Tires, ears, sticks, all of those are clearly visible in that, right? So this is another thing that we are working. I'll not go into the details, but this is another thing that we are working on, how to make them understand these details of languages, cultural nuances, and geographical, demographic sensitivities, right? So that they are more useful for whatever context we want them to work. So we are excited about Gen AI, but these are some of the challenges that we have. So thank you so much for patiently listening and answering the questions. These are some of the students and the sponsors that supporters that have been there throughout to support the research that my lab is conducting. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Richa, for this wonderful talk. There are many questions, and of course, we cannot take them all now, but we will try to take some now and maybe some afterwards if there is time. So let me begin. First question from Angel. Given AI's high energy consumption, especially with large models like GPT, how do you see this impacting global carbon emissions? Are there sustainable solutions being explored?
That's a very good question, Angel, and that is big on the research agenda. Have you heard of DeepSeek? That is another talk of the town today, right? So DeepSeek has been able to do some of the things that ChatGPT was doing at a lot less. The model size is a lot less. If the model size is a lot less, then the energy consumption is a lot less, right? So that is the direction in which we are thinking. Until now, the game was whoever has high compute, whoever has large data was winning the race, right? But what DeepSeek has done, DeepSeek has its own challenges, but what DeepSeek has done for us, it has shown that it is viable. You just don't need very high compute. Compute is important, but it's not only a race of compute, right? So that is what the research community is now looking at, that can we come up with more smarter solutions with reduced size models so that carbon emission is solved. And again, if that is what continues, then for people like us who are running in academics and don't have access to thousands of GPUs, we cannot survive, we cannot publish, we cannot do research, right? We will be mere users. So that is what we are trying to do now, create smaller, smarter models.
Yeah, thank you. So this, in fact, also addresses the question which was an independent question which Rashikar had asked. Can you compare generative AI LLMs from US and the China-based DeepSeek? So let me move on to another different question. This is from Badri. While doing KYC via facial recognition recently, I was told to close my eyes and then open them again. Does this help in recognition? How?
it doesn't help Badri in recognition. What it helps in doing is liveness detection. Because sometimes what you do is, so in face recognition, this is something we call a replay attack. So I'm standing here, right? You can take a video of mine and not you, somebody, right? I'm not claiming you will do that. Somebody can take a video of mine, or for that matter anybody else, and replay the video for KYC, right? But if you ask to blink your eyes and open it, that means there's a live person. Because then you can't have, if you're just replaying on a mobile phone or on a tablet, then you can't follow the instructions that are being said. At that time, if you're blinking the eyes, that means there is a real person sitting. So it is for liveness detection more than recognition itself.
I see. Okay.
Say that again? I can still simulate that, and people have done that. So liveness is not the only thing that we use for spoofing. That is one of the parameters. But then there are more advanced algorithms. Mask is another one of those. So when Apple phone came out, people had used silicon mask to fool Apple's face recognition there, right? These are, now those silicon masks are available in a couple of $100s. You can use that to get access. So that is another area that quite a few researchers are working on, and our lab is also working on that right now. But yeah, KYC, it's a good step, requires more liveness detection tools.
So let's take one more question before we close this. This is a question from Arvind. Are there any instances, maybe you can describe, where an attempt to implement known theoretical principles in to a specific AI application, as a spin-off, it also prompted the recognition of previously unknown theoretical principles? Are you aware of such instances?
I'll have to think about it. But this, without ears, is something that came as a spin-off only. We were not doing without ears. That is what not our intention was. We were doing something else. And while doing something else, we were trying to create a model. While doing that, we realized that it doesn't work on ears. So that became our main focus, and the previous one shifted out. Right? We don't have a company or a spin-off, but we just have a publication on this. But I can think back and come back during the, I'll think about it. I don't have something on top of my head right now.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much. Join me once again in thanking
Thank you,
Richa.
everyone.